Did you like growing up in Hawaii?
Loved it.
Silly question.
Yeah. Oh, I
still
mean,
gonna ask.
there's no place like it.
Yeah.
It's so special, and the community there, the nature, just being able to grow up in literally the bushes was so amazing. And there's nothing that can kill you other than sharks or whatever.
Yeah.
Falling off rocks.
Pretty rare, though.
But there's no snakes. There's no
there's no
infected
snakes on
ticks.
Maui? I thought that was just a Kauai thing. Wow.
Yeah, no.
Wow.
None of the islands, no snakes.
Huh.
Isn't that great?
How have they kept that off? You would think people would want to
know.
sneak them in their pocket just to be dicks or something. I don't know.
There's been stories of that,
Mm-hmm.
There's even a story about I think it's a panther, mountain lion, something.
Something that shouldn't be there that you don't want
and people
there.
are like,
and
I
there's
saw it.
chickens and deers and pigs and you don't want that. What was your social life like there growing up?
It was great.
Yeah?
Yeah, I mean, the community's so awesome. I have a lot of amazing friends. I mean, there was definitely a time where I had like a rough go at school. I got held back.
Oh, what
and
year?
a little made fun of it. I did first grade twice. And so I think during that period of my life, I kind of felt pretty uncomfortable. Just because
In what way?
I don't know, it's like made fun of.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't think I was smart enough, and kids would kind of...
Why did they hold you back?
Because I was dyslexic, and they didn't know it yet. And so I wasn't progressing like the other kids.
Okay.
And, I mean, it's not a big deal talking about it now. I'm
Sure.
revived. But,
Yeah.
I mean, if I had to think of something that wasn't perfect.
Yeah. What were the symptoms like back then?
I mean, dyslexia can manifest in so many different ways. And your brain just processes information differently. Maybe I'll be reading a sign, and the sign says something that gets all jumbled up for me, and I can't read it.
Okay.
There's that side of dyslexia, or numbers are backwards or whatever. That's kind of like the most common.
Either one is not conducive to learning, for sure.
Yeah, not great. And then, what else? Like, even, I feel it even in aspects of my making music.
Like
Too.
writing lyrics and stuff? And
Just, no, not writing lyrics. Like, the way that like, sometimes, let's see. Gosh, I'm trying to think of, how do I describe it that, like, other people understand?
is it, okay, so if you were looking at a sign and you're reading letters, are they floating around? Are they blurring together?
They kind of blur together,
Okay,
or
yeah.
they just look like a different word.
Okay.
Like, I'll process it for a word that kind of looks like that.
Okay.
It's really annoying.
Yeah, that would be. And so if you slow down and reread, does it
Sometimes.
fix itself? Okay.
Sometimes. The comprehension aspect was really hard for me. Like, reading a page, I'd have to read it 15 times. And then maybe have someone else read it to me and then explain what happened.
Wow.
Because it would just be like, turn into mush. Which was frustrating. So, like, with my music, I'll have to, sometimes I have to have, like, at least one foot sitting on something, like leaning on something, so that I can focus. And then have, maybe sometimes I'll, like, sing a rough guide in. And then I have to have it in one ear.
What's a rough guide in?
Like a rough take of the song.
Okay.
And then have it in one ear.
Okay.
So that I can, it's just a weird thing.
Wow, that's cool. You figured out the hacks.
Yeah, I figured out the hacks. I figured out what works. And it's great. That's just the thing with dyslexia. Your brain processes information different, like I said. And so I wonder
what the evolutionary gift of that would be. Like, why is that here? Because, like I said, I have ADD, and I can totally see how I'd be good at hunting, or I'd be good at multitasking or war or something like that. With reaction time and distractibility or impulsiveness, like, go kill the lion. Okay. Like, dyslexia, I wonder what that would, because it's here for a reason, Like, I always think about that when people have brains that are different. I'm like, what would be the benefit of that? How would a society be set up to where that would be a benefit? And I don't know if you ever thought about that, but
No, I haven't. I mean, I've heard that a lot of people who are creative have dyslexia. I don't know if it has some sort of correlation with that side of your brain.
Hey, you found a way through it.
I found a way through it.
Do you think of melodies first? Like, how do you make your songs? Does you wake up and you're like, oh my gosh, this was in my dream. Let me get a voice recorder. Or does it start with words? Or is it scientific process? Like, what does that look like?
Every day is different.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of days that are similar, but every day is different. Sometimes you'll write a song to a bass line. Sometimes I write a little poem and I bring that into the studio. And I'm like, what do you guys think of this? Sometimes I'm like, I have this melody that's like, da 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 da. And then we figure out what words we hear on that, you know? It's really just depends on what is flowing that day. And sometimes it ain't flowing. And you're like,
really?
Oh, God.
Do you push through it?
I gotta write a song. What am I going to say? And it's like, But yeah, I mean, most of the time, the success rate is pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I rarely leave the studio without a song.
That's sick. And so you can go in maybe not creative or feeling the creative mode, but you do something that elicits a process like with discipline and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hear that from creatives. I did not know that. I thought that, I thought people just walk around and like something comes to them and now they have a song. And first guy that told me that, his name was David Garibaldi, and he does these paintings where he'll do upside down paintings at halftime shows and it doesn't look like anything. You're like, what's going on? And he flips it over and it's like Abe Lincoln or something. And he said the creative process starts with discipline. You get to the studio and you show up at 9 and you start the process and then it unfolds. You don't wait for the inspiration. And that was the first I'd heard of that. So.
I think that's like the difference between, people that are creative and then people who make the creativeness their job too, because
the discipline factor.
Potentially, because it's really hard to make it as a creative person if you don't have that. Because I could be doing a different job, but I'd still have this desire to be creative constantly. But there wouldn't be any pressure or preconceived notions or anything that, like, I had to do it.
So you do feel pressure to create at times?
Some days, yeah. I mean, if I get to the studio and I'm just not feeling it or I'm sick or, You
still got to come up with something.
You still got to come up with something.
Mm-hmm.
Or if I've already been writing every day that week and I was like, oh, God, I don't have anything to say. What am I going to say? And then you start talking to your collaborators and it's like, wow.
How old were you when you realized that you have a vocal gift?
I never realized it. I just loved singing. And, my mom, she's a little biased, but, she's my mom.
I think she was right, though.
Well, I don't know. I look back at videos and I'm like, why did anybody let me on that stage? What were they thinking? But yeah, I grew up in going to my friend's dad's studio, Bob Rock. He lives on Maui as well.
Okay.
He's a Canadian producer, and my best friends were his daughters. They were the ones who had the horses too. So I grew up watching him record all these amazing artists that would come to the island to work with him. And it was just the most amazing thing to witness. And also sometimes he would have us come and sing like background vocals or like really silly little things. And I just loved it. And I don't remember any timelines or anything, but at one point he told my mom that like, I'm going to record her one day. And my mom always would make me at like dinner parties or whatever. She'd make me, oh, Lily, can you sing a Tisket a Tasket? Or can you sing, I don't know what song, all sorts of stuff. Then I got the lead in a school musical.
Okay.
After that, my mom got me vocal lessons. And she realized that I really liked doing it. And I think since I was having difficulties in school, and I was frustrated and embarrassed and all these different things and just wasn't working out in that aspect.
Right.
She saw that I had this outlet that really brought me joy. And she just fed that. And she did that with my brother too. And my dad too. They just were so supportive.
Is your brother's the surfing? Is that, that's cool.
Yeah. And so she just started getting me gigs. She's like, oh, you have this weekly Tuesday night cafe gig. We're going to, how about at this, Stella Blues bar? Oh, my friend's having a party. Come play at this. All sorts of stuff. And I just haven't stopped.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
How did that road lead to America's Got Talent?
Good question. Oof. I don't even know. I've always thought those shows were really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know if they would be right for me. Because I don't like the judging aspect of art.
It seems harsh.
You know?
Yeah.
Well, not even like harsh on me, but just harsh in general, I guess. It's just weird. Like, who's this person to tell you that you're not good enough to, like, do this? It's just maybe not their flavor. And then it, like, bums these people out who are really good and
or could
just
have
doing
been.
their own thing, you know? And it's a discouraging thing sometimes as much as it is an uplifting thing. So I there was a moment where there was a possibility of American Idol, like, how many years ago? Like 13, 14 years ago. And I didn't feel right about it, so I didn't pursue it. And I had put out an EP. Mm-hmm. This is fast forward 10 years ago.
I skipped the record deal.
10 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know if you want me to go into the whole story. But,
yeah, I definitely do. If you want.
Yeah. I mean, okay, so said no to that. And then at the time I was working with Bob Rock.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. And, what do I think? I think I was already touring with Willie Nelson. He had me on his duets album. And then he took me out on the road like an absolute angel. And so I was doing that. Gosh, I'm really roundabouting this.
It's me. Like I said, I put you here, I put you there.
Well, America's Got Talent is so far over here, and there's like a whole...
Let's just push the talent. I want to hear the
whole story?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it all starts with Bob Rock.
Okay.
Recording me.
Mm-hmm.
We got a development deal with Verve Records with David Foster.
Okay.
And I was pretty young at the time and didn't know what any of that meant. And Bob was also producing Michael Bublé at the time and I think some other people. So he was really busy and he would, get some studio time and we'd work on stuff here and there. And it just took a while and Bob and I were working on the project. Mm-hmm. I was at a cafe gig that I did weekly at Cafe Diz and Me Tuesday nights. And Willie Nelson was there. He came with his wife, Annie, who's friends with my mom.
Okay.
And he sat in and we sang Crazy together. And at the end of the night, he handed me a napkin that said a few songs on it. And he handed me it and was like, if you'd like to record any of these, let me know. And I was like, oh my gosh. Like, of course. Are you kidding?
Wow.
So then Bob and I went into this other studio, not his studio, and recorded a bunch of songs that day with him. And I've never heard any of it. The soundboard or something happened to where it all got corrupt.
Oh.
So I've never heard any of it. I don't think they've heard any of it. And so we're not going to be like, oh, you want to come back and do that again? And so fast forward a couple years at this point, I think, Willie invites me to be on the Duets album. And so then ended up going on the road with him for that.
Okay.
And he was like, you need something to sell at these concerts. I didn't have anything. I didn't have a record out. I didn't have anything, done. And so he was like, I want my son to record it. And so Micah Nelson started producing a record for me. And Micah, in the middle of that, got asked to be in Neil Young's band. And so he went out on tour with Neil Young, and my friend Eric Helmkamp helped finish the record. And during that time, I had never written a song. And so by the time we finished that project, I had kind of felt disconnected to it because maybe maybe a couple months before I put it out, I got a call from this woman, Leslie DePiro. And Leslie had seen a video of me on YouTube and was like, I want you to come to Nashville and write.
Well, what was the video?
I don't know. I think it was actually of me and Jamie Johnson singing at Farm Aid or something.
Okay.
And she's like, yeah, I want you to come to Nashville and write. I was like, I'm dyslexic. I don't write. Like it's just always had this like block up when it comes to letters and numbers and words.
Fair.
And she's like, no, I really I think you should come. And she convinced me, and I ended up in Nashville for 3 weeks, falling madly in love with songwriting.
That's awesome.
I was like, oh my gosh, like I can say what is on my mind and in my heart, and melodies that come out of my brain. It just like completely changed the entire world for me. You know, I'd already been doing music. I was 10 or 11, my first gig. And this was maybe I was 20, 21. I think I was 20 years old. So I'd already been doing it for so long. And then all of a sudden it was just like...
Unlocked a whole different element.
Yeah. And then I had this record of songs I didn't write. And we put out the project, and I just was like, you know what? This isn't fair. You know, I didn't write this. And then I ended up doing a couple songwriting sessions in LA with this producer, Scott Stevens. He's wonderful. And Scott and I wrote a couple songs, and these were like the first real, like, they felt like me songs. Super solid, I guess, and in the right direction and everything.
That's cool.
And those got sent around to the labels.
Wow.
And I was like, I don't think I was ready at the time, potentially, because I, first of all, didn't know what that meant. I was a little Hawaii girl, didn't know what that meant. I was in these meetings with, like, A&Rs, and I'm like, I don't even know what A&R stands for. And then ended up signing with Interscope Records.
Oh, wow.
And, yeah.
Okay.
And I was with them for, like, 4 years.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Huh.
And never put anything out. I just was writing, and I went to, where did I go? Went to London and wrote with people, LA, Nashville, all over.
Where's it going if it's not coming out?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, I don't know if I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if I ever felt like anything was ready. And the stuff that was kind of being pushed to be ready was maybe a little more pop than I wanted.
You weren't connecting with it.
And I wasn't connecting with it. And so then my mom got sick. And it was not great, but like I got dropped by Interscope. So that part was great, that I could spend time with her and take care of her and all that stuff, because it was hard to kind of try and juggle that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it was definitely heartbreaking, and she was devastated when I got dropped. She was just
Yeah.
like, she needed to make sure I was good in that aspect. So she was pretty disappointed, and that was really hard to see her disappointed. But it wasn't working there, so it you know, it was a blessing in disguise. And the guy that signed me left the company, and so I loved him. He was so amazing, and
But now you don't know anyone.
Now I was like, I met the person who replaced him one time, and the flow wasn't there. So, yeah, like I said, it was devastating because I never knew I would get another chance like that again, but also I didn't really want to be there in the first place. So, blah, blah, blah. Just grateful to be there. Don't take me wrong on that. But sometimes, you know, life just makes things change for a reason. Yeah. And I was taking care of my mom and, you know, not really focusing on music at all. She would be like, please go to the studio, please, you know, and I'd just be like.
So she was wanting to have you keep.
Yes.
Wow.
Oh, for sure.
Mama
and I was
bear.
like, I'm tired. You know, it's like, you know, it's a really tough thing.
It is.
To take care of someone in that position, and just to even see them like that is exhausting. You know, it's so heartbreaking, and the heartbreak, it hurts.
Yeah.
And then the world shut down.
Yeah. Yeah.
The dang world shut down, and I got my mom back to Maui because she was at the City of Hope in LA for her treatment. She's like, I need to go home. Like, I don't want to get stuck in LA. We went home and finished her treatment, and she, obviously did not make it.
What was it?
She had lung cancer.
Oh, it was?
Yeah.
Okay. Like tumors and stuff?
She had a mass in her chest and in some of her lymph nodes here. So when she was diagnosed, it was limited stage, which is great. Still scary because lung cancer is a very scary one to get.
Is awful.
Yeah.
Yeah, super scary.
But we thought that she was in remission. There was kind of a mix-up with her last scan. They didn't...
Did you let your guard down and stuff a little bit?
No, we didn't really let our guard down because she still had more stuff to do with treatment. But we got so excited. It was like this amazing thing. Like, oh my, are you kidding me? Like, oh, I still remember that day. Just, I've never been that more relieved in my entire life. And they didn't realize that it was in her bones in that scan, but it was out of her chest. So it was interesting.
But wow.
The cancer had spread to her bones.
Okay.
And so fast forward, she ended up on treatment again, and the treatment wasn't working, and there was this other treatment coming in the mail, and it didn't get there in time, and she just, I honestly didn't, we never talked about death. We never even considered it an option, because I wasn't going to let that happen, you know? And obviously you fear it in those moments, right? But I was just like, you have to stay hopeful.
You do.
Hope is like the most powerful thing. And so anytime anything would brought up, I'm like, it's not an option. It's not an option. We're not even going to go there. And there's parts of me that's like, oh, I wish that we would have maybe planned a little bit so I would have known, you know, more. And maybe had her, you know, write me some letters, write my kids letters, or just taking more videos or something. You know, there's a part of me that wishes I did that. And like, if anybody's going through it, like, I hope that inspires them to do that, you know, regardless of what the outcome is.
You can keep the hope and still do those things like that.
So
how long was that process from when you found out she had cancer? To when she passed away?
So it's, like I said, I'm not very good with time. She was sick, I think it was
like years?
A year and some change.
Oh, wow. So really quick.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, well, no wonder there wasn't a chance to plan. And
I mean, it was so confusing how fast it went.
I can't even fathom that. That's like a blink. So if you hadn't prepped for it, like, what was that like when she passed? Like, were you in denial?
I don't know how deep you get on these.
As deep as deep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it was to the point where she took her last breath and I was trying to give her CPR. That's how in denial I was, that was the reality of that moment.
Were there other people around you?
Yeah, it was actually, like, regardless of how traumatizing it was a really beautiful moment. And I mean, I can tell you the story about Butterfly if you want.
I would love to hear that. Yeah.
So at this point, she was really sick and needed a blood transfusion. And we were on Maui. It was during COVID. And I wasn't allowed in the hospital with her. And we didn't really spend much time apart. And so this was tough because blood transfusions take a long time. And she needed 2. And so I dropped her off at the hospital and I was like, you know, like, what do I do now? And my dad was like, let's go get some fresh air. And he was going to go look at this piece of property, upcountry Maui. We drove up there and there was a whole field of milkweed, which is the plant that hosts the butterfly or the caterpillar. You know, and throughout my life, we raised butterflies. My mom would always bring milkweed home and we'd watch them. And it was like a sweet little thing. And so when I saw the milkweed, I'm like, oh, great. Something I can bring home. Yeah. She'll be so excited. And so she came home from the hospital. We had the milkweed and we watched it every day. The caterpillars are growing. And the first 2 turned into cocoons and then they turned black. It was really strange. And they never hatched. I was like, that's really weird. I've never seen that before. And then there were other little eggs that were on there. So the other caterpillars slowly were turning into cocoons and doing their thing. And there was this one night where she slept through the night. And it was really out of the ordinary because she was pretty anxious at this point and not sleeping. And she always told me that her mom would say, like, when you rest is when you can heal. And so I was all stressed out, you know, like, you really need to sleep to get better, you know, and she's in so much pain all night. It was horrible. And so this one night she finally fell asleep. We're like, oh, thank goodness. I slept by her and woke up the next morning. She's still sleeping. I was like, oh my gosh, she's still sleeping. Like, this is amazing. And I noticed she was like kind of breathing a little funny. And so I wheeled her bed out onto the front porch to get some fresh air. She's still sleeping. And I turn over and I see the first butterfly had hatched. And I was like, oh my gosh, are you kidding me?
Wow.
Like, the butterfly's here. And I got so excited. And I pick up the butterfly and I'm trying to tell her through her sleep. And she had had good days and bad days. And one day she kind of stopped talking. It was really strange. And
temporarily?
Yeah, temporarily. Okay. She stopped talking and was really lethargic. And at that moment, I got really afraid of her passing away. I was like, oh no, I kind of panicked a little bit. And I was sitting there with her and I was just like, how am I going to know you're going to visit me? You know, if you go. How am I going to know it's you? And at the time, this fluff flew into the room. And I was like, oh, that's funny. Like, maybe she's going to be a dandelion. You know, I was like, oh, maybe that's what it was. So I didn't think much about it. And the next day she woke up and was like, hey, guys. And everything was fine. And I'm like, oh, okay. It was just a moment. It was so interesting. So fast forward to the butterfly hatching.
What do you think, like, might sound weird, but do you think she might have been somewhere else in that time and she was working on something in the universe and maybe she was the fluff? I mean, I don't know if you think about metaphysical stuff.
Oh, well, so it comes back to the fluff. Okay. I'll come back to the fluff. So I pick up the butterfly and I bring it to her and I'm like kind of talking to her while she's sleeping. Oh, the butterfly's here, you know. And it flies off. Okay. And then I wheel her back inside because she was getting kind of hot in the sun. And my brother comes in, was playing some songs next to her bed. And a couple of my friends had come over. And I called her nurse because of her breathing was a little, she was breathing out of her mouth. And I had the oxygen in her nose. And I was like, should I put it in her mouth? Like, you know, this weird rhythm. It was a weirder rhythm than I had seen. She's like, oh, I'm on my way. I'll come check it out when I get there. And I call her again. I'm like, oh, you know, like, are you almost here? Like, asking about the oxygen. And when I turned around to make that call, she took her last breath. Oh. And this was within 10 minutes of the butterfly hatching.
Oh, my God.
In that moment. And I was like, wow. Like, that was her transitioning.
I think so.
1,000,000%. And, yeah, so special.
Jeez.
And
that's really beautiful.
Yeah, it was so sweet. And we actually, I know this might sound weird
no,
to the rest of you,
but not on this podcast.
Okay.
The audience of this, there's no weird, I promise.
We had her body overnight, which sounds crazy to some people, but hospice came and they give a lavender bath and it's this ritual. And since it was COVID, a lot of people couldn't come and see her because she had lung cancer and she was really susceptible. Okay. And so, you know, some people would come and see her outside or whatever. But a lot of people came and said their goodbyes after she passed. And everyone brought flowers and just her entire body was covered in flowers. It was the most beautiful thing. And I suggest it to anybody. Like, if you get the chance to do that with your loved one when they pass, it was so helpful for people in their grieving process. And yeah, it was a really beautiful way. I mean, it was heartbreaking, but
yeah, of course.
It was really beautiful. And so after that, the next morning they came to get her. And obviously really heartbreaking. We flew through all the flowers in the ocean. And a bunch of my friends came over and her friends and woke up the next morning and the next butterfly had hatched. And the butterfly stayed with my brother and I for hours.
Wow.
Yeah, I'll show you a picture when we're done. But it was so beautiful. And
Did you feel her?
Oh, 1,000,000%.
You did, huh?
I mean, the picture is crazy. It's literally him and I standing there, and the butterfly just on my face.
Come on.
Yeah, it's wild.
1,000,000% that's her.
And I have a very fragile brain, and I think that if I didn't have something like that, some sort of sign that felt so tangible and real, I would have had a really hard time grieving. And I already did have a really hard time, but that got me through. I mean, I was able to
Bear taking care of you. She knew what you needed.
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome.
And I'm just so grateful for that butterfly.
Do you still see him?
Oh, all the time.
Do you really?
All the time. Yeah.
And do you feel her as well? That's so cool.
It's really special. And sometimes it'll happen in moments where I'm talking about her, or if I'm talking about something where I need a sign.
Yeah.
And even so, coming back to the fluff.
Okay.
So on the milkweed plant, there's a seed pod. And when the seed pod opens up, there are these little fluffs. Oh. And so it was one of the milkweed's fluffs that flew in the room.
Oh, from
the plant that hosts the butterfly.
You can't make that stuff up.
No, you can't. It's crazy.
Wow.
And so even, was it today? Yesterday, driving, I was talking to Hadley, who's playing with me on this show, and she's also tour managing and driving. She's an absolute amazing human. Yeah.
Savage.
Yeah.
Okay.
So amazing. And she has perfect pitch, and she's so cool. So Hadley and I were kind of talking about loss. She lost her grandma recently. And I was like, yeah, I was telling her about the signs. And I was like, if I didn't have these signs, and I'd be kind of lost. And
what kind of comfort do they give you? Is it like you're on the right path, or you just feel safe? What does it do?
It just depends. It depends on whatever the situation was. And I'm saying to her about this sign and how it's helped me, like, know I'm on the right path, or know whatever, And a freaking fluff on the freeway flies in front of our car.
Wow. Dude, that's really going on. Like yours is butterflies and fluff and your mom and stuff, but this stuff is happening all the time.
Yeah.
And I think you're either open to it and you're letting that help you guide you through life, or you're not. And
exactly.
You're making life a lot harder on yourself.
Yeah.
That's super cool.
And then I say to her, I'm like, that is crazy. And she's like, yeah, that's crazy. And I'm like, it just goes to show you really know when it's a sign. And another one goes by.
Oh, wow.
On the freeway.
Dude, that's so cool.
It was amazing.
I had one, my wife and I, we have this thing with egrets, like the white egret bird. Oh, yeah, they're all over Hawaii. You know what I'm talking about.
I have a thing with egrets, too.
Okay. So whenever her and I are in that, like, that flow, like that frequency, we're just one. You know what I'm saying? Our chemistry's right. We're doing something fun. We see an egret.
Yeah.
And I didn't believe it at first. She would say, there it is again. I'm like, okay, cool. So we're in the backyard, and she's like, okay, whatever like this is, we're going to test it. And she goes, send one. And
no way.
This is ridiculous. It's almost like funny to tell the story, but an egret flies over us. And I'm like, okay, cool, a little party trick or whatever, but not good enough. And so she's like, all right, just give it a few minutes. The thing flies like 5 feet from us. And there's you saw our backyard. There's no flight path for an egret. It like dips down, and I'm like, okay. So that's really happening. So now when I see egrets, it's like you're a butterfly.
I love that.
I
love that. My dad lost the first love of his life, he told me, when he was a kid. She passed away from cancer. And at her funeral, there were a bunch of egrets. And so he always said, when I see an egret, I think of Ruby. And so every time I see an egret, I think of Ruby. And I didn't even know Ruby, but
What was the most beautiful part besides that of that whole process? I should say, what good do you think came from that? Your mom passing, participating in the end, the record label dropping, and just that's pretty intense.
It is intense. It's really intense. And I mean, there are beautiful moments throughout it all, and the most heartbreaking moments. Without the dark, you can't really see the light. Makes you appreciate things a lot more. Definitely gave me a whole new perspective on life.
Did it?
Yeah.
What did it shift?
Just how fleeting it is, and also how precious it is, and how the things that we get so worked up on mean nothing, you know? And I have this song that I wrote recently, and I think it's going to be the title track of my album. It's called Lucky to Be, and it's just all about the good, the bad, the ugly, everything that we go through. We're just lucky to be experiencing it. Like the chances of us are being born are 1 in 400 trillion.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
I didn't know that.
1 in 400 trillion.
Really feel like you're here for a reason, right?
Yeah, I mean, you're either here for a reason, but that it's short. It's really short when you think about it.
Yeah. Are you religious at all?
I'm not, but I'm really open to things, you know? Like I didn't grow up religious. My mom was Jewish, but not a practicing Jew. And my dad, I think, grew up Catholic, but neither of them practiced anything. They always were like, be kind. You know, our religion was the golden rule. Do unto others as you wish others to do unto you. That's always what my mom would say. And I mean, we would celebrate Hanukkah and Christmas and stuff like that. You know, we still had aspects of it in our life, but nothing was a strong, even though our families had stronger ties in it. But I'm open to everything.
That's cool.
But I guess I'm not seeking anything. Does that make sense?
You're just in the moment.
I've said for the last few years, I'm just taking things a minute at a time or a second at a time, you know, 1 foot in front of the other.
That's cool.
Yeah. It's hard. I mean, I got really depressed after my mom died.
Yeah.
Super depressed. And I already struggled with anxiety pretty bad.
You did?
Before that. So it just kind of like took over me.
Anxiety and depression?
Yeah. Yeah. And kind of got to a pretty dark place. And I mean, just getting up to do my laundry was like a chore. And,
so just catatonic.
Yeah. And the relationship I was in, they didn't understand that and had never felt that before at the time. And so they didn't have the understanding and patience I needed. Since done the work and totally are incredible. But yeah, it was really rough.
How long did it go on for?
I still struggle with it.
Do you?
Yeah. It comes and goes. There's moments like back in, during the holidays, I got really sad. And, you know, sometimes it lasts a while. Sometimes it's just a few days. Sometimes it's a few hours, you know. It really just depends.
What does that feel like for you? Is it like that heavy kind of wet blanket? The heart, you feel like gravity's heavier. Your thoughts are not good.
Yeah, the wet blanket is perfect. I always say like a weighted blanket, like you're carrying around a weighted blanket.
It feels like that.
And just like lifting it's just like it's so weird. It hurts, but in such a dull way.
It's hard too because you know, like, all right, I should exercise. I should move. You can't.
No,
like,
you can't.
It's impossible. Your leg's like 80 pounds, just 1 foot on the ground, just you know. And then you got the thoughts. Like, I do. Yeah, I do. It's really annoying. It is. Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, no, it's not fun. And I get. There's been times it's so bad that I can't get out of bed. And I never had that till like my adult life. That's a very bizarre thing because there's like a really sick comfort in it in a way. I don't know how to describe it. Like you can put on music and really go into it. Like if you're, I don't know what I'm saying. But
I get it. I mean, I have gotten to a point where I try and control it. It's hard to. Like even just like last week, I was feeling like it might be coming on. I'm like, oh gosh, like what can I do that can bring me out of it? And I shield myself from it a lot. Like I won't watch sad movies because I don't want it to trigger it. I feel things really deeply when I see them, I guess. It'll affect me for a while if I see a sad movie, I'll get down in the dumps.
Yeah.
What has been my saving grace? Like think it saved my life is horses.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, I mean, there was a moment where I had to go to this, a wedding in Jackson Hole.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it sounds so amazing, right?
Mm-hmm.
To me, that day, I would have rather gouged my eyes out than get on that plane and get out of bed. I was like, I can't do it. I can't go. I can't go. My boyfriend was like, you got to do it. Like, it'll be fine. It's so beautiful there. The fresh air. Like, it's going to be great. I can't. I'm so sorry. Dragged me out of bed.
Oh, wow.
We went, and his family was like, oh, do you want to do anything on the day off? We can go fly fishing, you know, maybe we'll go bike riding. And I'm just still like, okay, like, oh God, buckle up. Like, you got this. And I was like, well, what if we go try and find a trail ride? Riding at that point, you know, I wasn't going to the ranch anymore. It was more like when I had time off or when I'd go on vacation, you know, I'd got to go riding. And I was like, you know, this feels kind of like a vacation moment. Like, would you guys want to go on a trail ride? And so we found this place, Heart Six Ranch, it's outside of Jackson. And we were riding, and, you know, his family doesn't want to go fast or anything. But it was the most beautiful view. It was so, so pretty. And actually, during that trip, there were like thousands of dandelions everywhere. So there was fluff in the air, just like it looked like it was snowing fluff. So we're on the ride, and I'm talking to the guide, and I'm trying, and she could tell I wanted to pick it up a little bit. So when we got back to the barn, she told the other instructors that I dropped my phone and that we had to go and get it.
Okay.
And so she took me through the forest, and we just flew. Oh. And it lit me up.
Just pulled
so
you right
heavily.
Out of it.
Exactly.
That's so cool.
It sparked joy for the first time in years. I mean, it was for the first time probably since my mom being diagnosed. And, you know, you can laugh through things. You can have a good time. You can still, like, experience joy and stuff. But there's always that, like, looming thing happening. And until you really spark it, it's so hard to get out of it. You know? There's something to that. And I'm, you know, kind of working on some sort of equine therapy project at the moment. Which is still in like the beginning works, but
like a possible horse-related antidepressant therapy for other people to try as well.
Yeah,
dude, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's. I mean,
what are you gonna do with it? I mean,
I don't quite know yet. I mean, my goal right now. I mean, I'd love to eventually have a ranch where I have people come and I host something like that. But obviously, I tour a lot on the road. I don't have time for that or a ranch.
Yeah.
So. Can't do that. But I'm trying to think of a way where I can partner with a bunch of equine therapy places starting out in the U.S. where I schedule maybe a monthly trail ride for people who are struggling, and I make it super easy for them to sign up and free for them. And so it just, because getting yourself the help like that is really hard, you know? Especially when you're down. And, you know, and if not a trail ride because they're not ready, like they can just go and be with the horses or have like a, you know, there's all sorts of forms of equine therapy. But it's a real thing, and it's so cool. And I just want to really share that with people because of how incredible it was for me. Yeah. Sparking that joy, popping that bubble, like it's a thing. My brother, I don't know if he would admit it, but he struggled a lot after my mom passed as well. And, he went to Bald Face.
What's
Have
that?
you heard of Bald Face? It's a mountain in, I think, Canada.
Okay.
And he went powder snowboarding. And he hadn't been in years, like I think 7-10 years he hadn't been snowboarding. But he's really good on boards.
Yeah.
And same thing happened with him. I mean, I hadn't seen him smile like that in so long. It sparked it for him again.
That's
and
really
now
cool.
He like wants to go do this all the time. He's like seeking it. He's like, how can I do this every year? I need to do this every year.
That's really cool.
He came home from that trip. He stopped in San Diego to visit me. I just couldn't believe it. The smile on his face. And he was just watching videos over and over again. And the videos of him, I'll have to show you these. They're so funny. He's going down the mountain screaming. Oh my gosh! And it's emotional.
Yeah.
It's so sweet and it's so genuine. And he'd be crying at the end of the run. Just like, I can't believe that was real. That was the best thing ever.
That's so cool.
And so, yeah, there's really something to it. And I swear, like, I wish that I was like a doctor or something where I could like study that and figure it out, because it's real.
I think you got to go on intuition. You know, there's some things that can't be studied. You can't solve them,
That's
but you
true.
can just feel it.
That's true.
Do you use your intuition at all?
Yeah, I do.
How do you use that?
I think so. I don't know. Like, that doesn't feel right.
Yeah. You get the squeeze there when
You're
you
like,
did. Yeah.
Doesn't feel right. I probably should not do
Dude,
that.
that's like a sense we're supposed to be using. I
Yeah.
don't think we're not trained on it in Western society, but we all have that. And there's a purpose for it, you know?
I wonder, I mean, I've never thought about this, but I wonder if, you know, all the things that we're doing, like our phones, the constant, you know, entertainment, our short attention span, like, I wonder if that kind of dims the light of our intuition. We can't quite feel it because we don't know what is bringing us these emotions. Is it that sad video I just watched? Is it, you know, am I all pepped up because I watched a funny video?
Yeah.
You know, it's like all
Is
these
it
different
dopamine
things.
from the
Yeah.
for sure. It's definitely a distraction. I mean, if you're
Yeah.
constantly consuming other people's content, you can't align with yourself to know like what you can create or what you want to consume even. So
Yeah.
I think so. I don't think there's much good coming from endless scrolling, you know?
Yeah. No.
It's just spiritual junk food in a way.
Yeah. I mean, I have moments where I'm on my phone all the time, and then moments where
course.
I haven't looked at my phone all day.
That's
And I'm like,
amazing.
oh, sorry, I'm going to get fired. But I just can't. I can't let it rule me.
Yeah.
I really can't. And I, especially when I'm like stressed or having a hard time, I just have to put that away. And I have to turn on the button that is like, we're floating on a rock.
Right on.
Just let it be for a minute. Nothing bad's going to happen. Just go have some fresh air and lay in the sun and get your face wet.
Any story you want to tell? Anything you want to share
No,
while you're
I
here?
don't know.
Personal stories?
I know I've talked your ear off.
No,
I went
no.
around about.
No. That's exactly what this is for.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
No, this is a personal. I did one earlier today. And so
yeah.
I'm in the position you are where pulling on the juices like, wait, what was I saying? But yeah, no, this is a show to, you know, for people to express themselves.
Yeah. We didn't talk about you at all.
You have questions?
Well, I mean, shit. I didn't come prepared.
Me either.
Okay, so I know where you're from.
This is hilarious.
I'm the interviewer now.
Yeah, hey, no, I'm good with it. This will be the first on this podcast.
I mean, what
I've
triggered you having issues with depression? Do you know?
I don't know. I got thrown out of every school I was ever in. I was constantly in trouble, constantly told I was bad, I was shitty, you know, evil, like just I could not control myself, like severe ADD. I think a lot of like, I hate even saying that because that term is so thrown around that people can use it to like get an Adderall script or like they say it as a joke. But whatever that is, that set of symptoms, I have a very extreme version to this day. It greatly affects my life. So what it looked like as a kid is almost zero ability to say no to myself, including the thoughts that turn into words or actions. Like I'd be in class and I have a cup and I'm like, I wonder what would happen if a cup goes through that window and the cup's through the window. Middle of class, stuff like that. Burnt down my school bathroom. And I absorbed full-time negativity, like my whole growing up. And I think that took a toll. And so the first time I felt it, I was like 16 and I just felt this heavy feeling, you know, where feels like your heart's heavy and your stomach's heavy and there's no motivation and your thoughts aren't working right and you don't want to get up. I was like, what is this? And there was this song on, I'll never forget the song. It was Sarah McLachlan, 80 I do believe I fit. Yeah. And I just was like really deeply connecting with that, but it didn't feel good. And this is my first little glimpse of depression. And since then, yeah, it kind of comes in waves. It can be triggered, but I haven't, like, the weirdest thing is when it hits, I know what to do. Okay, let's do exercise. Let's do a cold plunge. Get out, get in the sun. But two things are going on. One, it's so, like I said, there's a sick comfort in it. So I don't really want it to go away, as odd as that is. And then two, I can't push through that heavy blanket. So I just kind of like wait until, I mean, it can go on for days or like a couple weeks or whatever. And yeah, but luckily certain things like trigger it. Like if there's a lot of stress at work, or if I'm not getting behind on sleep, I know, hey, I'm super susceptible. So I haven't thought about limiting my media, like keeping sad stuff away or keeping down movies away, which makes perfect sense, especially when you know you're on the edge. But yeah, I know people that have never been depressed, and they're just, I talk to them too. Like, were you born like this? My favorite coffee shop, the owner, consistent personality all the time. I am not a consistent personality. I can't believe I can do this because I never know like what mood I'm going to be in day to day. But this guy is just level. And I asked him, like, do you try to be that positive? Are you trying to be? And he goes, no, man, I was just born this way. No bad days. And I'm like, wow, fuck you.
Yeah.
So
isn't it crazy?
It is. Like there really is. And so like that, it gives me empathy and compassion for other people that I would think like, dude, in whatever situation you can do better. It's like, you don't know that. You don't know their brain. Just like that endlessly happy dude telling me to just snap out of it. You don't know what you're talking about, you know? And so kind of what you were like alluding to earlier, going through hard times, you have to experience the dark to see the light. And I think to truly like love and appreciate and have compassion for people, you have to suffer. Like you do. And it removes any ability. When you have a weakness in yourself that is hurting you and halting your life, it kind of removes the ability to judge other people in a way. And so there's a lot of beauty in suffering. Yeah. That's
so true.
That's my depression rap.
I know it's wild to know that people live without it. I mean, I obviously experienced it heavily after my mom, but I had little moments of it, I think, when I was struggling at school. And then the first time I really felt it, I was traveling in California, came to visit, I think my aunt or something, and I saw someone begging for food. And it affected me so heavily to the point where I was like, I don't think I can live on a planet like this. It made me sick seeing that. I just felt so bad for this person. And I was like, how can I live on knowing that is all over here? Yeah. You know? And my boyfriend still to this day, he's never been depressed, never
really
experienced anxiety.
Well, good for you. You picked the right.
Well, I'm like, we kind of balance each other out, you know?
Yeah.
Because if I don't know what we would do if we both were spinning out.
Ride it out, I guess. My wife's, I'm impulsive with my actions, words, thoughts, emotions. So up and down, my wife's just cool, like calm, Danish, and
cucumber.
Yeah, you gotta pick the opposite. When's your album coming out?
I don't know.
Okay.
It's in the works. I'm like in the works.
Okay.
Some of it is starting to come out. Like
nice.
The new one just dropped a couple days ago, and yeah, it's coming.
What's your favorite song of yours?
They all stem from such different emotions.
Oh, wow.
It's hard to think about it that way. I mean, I think from a standpoint of message, I like to share the message of Daydream because I got kind of addicted to what that song can do to somebody.
Explain that a little bit.
Sounds crazy saying addicted. I get messages daily about how that song has affected people.
That's so cool.
And it is so cool. It's so beyond me as an artist, you know? It's more important than me. You know what I mean? Like that message of that song. And like this, I tell this story sometimes, this one guy, because it really affected me hearing how it affected him. He heard my song. I think maybe saw the audition. I'm not sure. Called his realtor when he finished watching it put his house up for sale, and now owns a boat, and went sailing, like living in his boat.
That's incredible.
I know.
He went for it.
I totally botched that story, but yeah, he went for it, and it was that song that made him do that. And I'm like, wow, this song is so powerful.
Ineffable in that song, and especially when you hit like the out of money and power, it's like, oh, I'm not waiting for that. I love that song.
Yeah, thank you.
It's one of your most popular, so a lot of people do.
Yeah.
So isn't that cool to produce a piece of art that impacts someone, specifically music like that? I've said it on the show before, but it blows my mind that somebody can use their body as an instrument and produce a sound, record it, and when it hits someone else's brain anywhere, it produces chemicals like serotonin and oxytocin, and sometimes even dopamine. What a gift. Like,
it's
what
crazy.
a gift. I'm glad you developed it, because it takes work. You can have the gift, but you better put the work in to
it's
take
therapy
the vocal
for
trainings.
me, writing the songs. And, you know, when I write it for myself, and then I sometimes have, you know, in my ear, like, oh, like, I want the listener to feel heard or seen.
Whoa.
You know?
No, I don't. That's deep.
And, you know, obviously I can make it 1,000,000% about myself. And sometimes people still connect with it on their thing. But yeah, overall, like the fact that it's connected with people, like that's just crazy to me. What else was I going to say? There was something else with that.
Butterfly.
Oh, Butterfly too. Yeah.
Is that hard to sing?
Yes.
Like it is.
Yeah.
Okay. It's gotta be. I can't believe you did that on that audition. That's crazy.
I did not make it through the song.
No?
Well, they played a montage behind me.
Okay.
And I had in-ear monitors in, and I had just written the song.
Okay.
And tested out like multiple different keys of the song.
Okay.
So it was like all jumbled up in my head. So they have this montage and they're telling the story about it. And I'm hearing it, and all of a sudden it goes, dun, dun, and I start singing. And so I had to hear the whole story about why I wrote it. And so the Band-Aid just ripped off. Oh, and I start crying. And so I'm trying to sing the song while trying not to cry in front of 37 million people on live television. It was crazy.
Okay, so when we watch that, it's like 3 to 5 minutes, right? How long were you on stage? Like, what is that like?
Well, not long, because it's live. It's all live.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Okay, so they're not messing around with it. That's live. Wow.
Yeah, that's live. So I'm sitting there, and it plays the montage, and all of a sudden it cues me to start, and I'm like, I start crying. I'm like, oh my gosh, then I have to try and sing it. The frog, you know, like when you get a lump in your throat. I had a lump in my throat trying to hit oh no, I didn't. I completely bombed. I barely hit the right note the entire song.
Really?
And then after that, I was like, oh my gosh. But then you know what? I woke up the next day and I was like, I'm fine. I don't care that I just messed up. Who cares? I'll survive. And that was a good test in life, you know? Like you can survive.
Oh, I was thinking of the Golden Buzzer audition.
This is a different... the Golden Buzzer.
Okay,
yeah, so I sang,
like,
I had to sing Butterfly.
Okay, yes. Okay.
So they're telling, you know.
Golden Buzzer Daydream. So this is the Butterfly audition.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Boy, I
survived
that changes
Daydream.
That story.
Yeah, no. So bad. But whatever, who cares?
Kind of mean, hey.
We all have bad moments. But they're not even bad, it's just human. We're all human.
Did it mess with your confidence at all, or did you just take it straight? Oh, that's gangster.
Yeah, no. I mean, at first I was like, oh, God, I ruined my chances of singing again. But I didn't want to win.
What did you want?
Just to sing another song.
I love it.
It was fun to sing.
What do you want to do with your career?
Ooh, I guess I'm already doing it. I am obsessed with every part of what I do. I love writing.
God, that's
I
a
love
great
recording.
Existence.
I love performing and connecting with people. The only part I don't like is the business side. I'm not very business savvy. So when it comes to like contracts and things like that, I'm like, look, you can handle that.
Yeah.
But yeah, everything else, I'm so in love with it, and I need it. I need it. I mean, each song I write it helps me through something. And
I love that.
I just feel so lucky every day that I have that as an outlet too. Like, I don't know if you journal or anything, but being able to write about what you're going through, good stuff, bad stuff, like, it's just so healing.
Yeah. I've been kind of feeling the nudge to do that. I use music. Like I love music. Like I love consuming it. I'm not great at it, but that's how I process my emotion. Like I'll go drive and I'll put certain songs on, or I'll put shuffle on, or songs that I know like make me feel happy, or songs that I know help me process that emotion. I'll cry, like I'll get pumped up, roll the windows down, and so that's kind of my therapy. But writing's cool too.
It is cool. Just getting something out of your brain and off your chest is important. If no one reads it, that's fine too. And even if no one ever heard my music, that'd be fine too. You know, just being able to express it and get it out is like, bleh, you know?
Yeah.
You got to get that stuff out.
You
can't
do.
let it fester.
No, it makes you sick.
Yeah.
For sure. We all have to get our emotions out.
Yeah. I made this little like website where people can go and write a postcard to heaven.
Huh.
And so that they can go and like write to people and just get it out and have somewhere to send it and let it go.
That's cool.
Because I felt like that was really helpful for me, and like, so.
What's it called? What's the website?
It's just, it might be attached to my website.
Okay.
But like, yeah, probably on lilymeola.com. I don't know.
Cool.
But it's, I didn't,
like you said,
I didn't
create
it
is not
myself. Yeah. I didn't create the website myself. Someone made it for me. But yeah, that's the, you just go and you write it out.
Cool. This was fun.
This
Thank
was so
you.
fun. Thank you.
Kinda
Sorry,
cool.
I keep talking.
No, that's what this is. So it's fun. It just kind of goes wherever it goes.
Yeah. I had a thought. You want to go horseback riding tomorrow?
Let's do it.
Yeah?
I do.
You never know. It could be your new
I'm in.
Your new thing.
Mm-hmm. And we were going to podcast tomorrow, so I'm free.
Oh, you were? Oh, true.
You and I. Yeah.
True.
I'm free.
Okay, well, let me see if this place can take us.
Okay. Cool. We're going to end it on that note.
I love it.